One of the most iconic fighter jets in history, the F-14 Tomcat, made famous by the movie Top Gun, was retired by the U.S. Navy in 2006. But here's the big question that refuses to go away even today. Was the Tomcat retired too soon? Some call it a legend that was unfairly scrapped. Others argue it was outdated and too expensive to keep flying, so what's the truth? Let's find out. To understand this debate, we need to go back to the late 1960s. The U.S. Navy needed a new fighter jet to replace the F-4 Phantom and counter the growing threat from Soviet long-range bombers and powerful MiG fighters. The result was the F-14 Tomcat, built by Grumman. It was a revolutionary aircraft, twin engines, variable sweep wings that could change shape mid-flight, and most importantly, it carried the AIM-54 Phoenix missile, a weapon that could shoot down enemy aircraft from more than 160 kilometers away. No other fighter in the world had that capability at the time. The F-14 was not just another jet, it was a true multi-role fighter. It could engage Soviet bombers, dogfight with enemy fighters, and even perform reconnaissance missions. Pilots loved it for its speed, agility, and power. It could fly at over Mach 2, climb rapidly, and dominate in air-to-air combat. For decades, the Tomcat became the backbone of U.S. Navy aviation, patrolling aircraft carriers and projecting American power across the world. And of course, Hollywood gave it superstar status with the movie Top Gun, making it a symbol of American air superiority. But here's where the controversy starts. By the 1990s, the Cold War had ended, and the U.S. Navy faced budget cuts. The F-14, while powerful, was also extremely expensive to maintain. Each flight hour cost tens of thousands of dollars, and the aircraft required constant repairs due to its complex design. The Navy found it more practical to invest in the new F-A-18 Super Hornet, which was cheaper, more modern, and easier to maintain, even if it didn't have the same range or missile power as the Tomcat. So, in 2006, the F-14 was officially retired. But the decision has remained controversial ever since. Critics argue that the Tomcat still had unmatched capabilities, especially its long-range radar and the Phoenix missile system, which gave the U.S. Navy a unique advantage. Supporters of the retirement point out that technology had moved on. The AIM-54 Phoenix was phased out, and the Navy preferred aircraft that were cheaper to operate and capable of precision strike missions, like the Super Hornet. In short, the debate is, should the Navy have modernized and kept the Tomcat flying, or was replacing it the smarter long-term decision? What's interesting is that other countries would have loved to keep using the F-14. Iran, for example, still flies a few Tomcats today, decades after the U.S. retired them, although with limited success. That shows just how advanced this aircraft was for its time. For the U.S., though, the choice was between nostalgia and practicality. Keeping the F-14 would have meant billions more in maintenance, while newer aircraft promised efficiency and modern avionics. Still, many experts believe the Tomcat had at least another decade of useful service left if upgraded properly. So, was the F-14 Tomcat retired too soon? The answer depends on who you ask. From a pilot's perspective, it was a legendary machine that still had fight left in it. From the Navy's perspective, it was a costly burden that had to go. What's certain is that the F-14 remains one of the most iconic jets ever built, a perfect example of how military decisions are shaped not just by technology, but also by economics, politics, and strategy. And even today, almost 20 years after its retirement, the Tomcat continues to capture the imagination of aviation lovers around the world.